Čućete zanimljivu priču o Vesni Vranković, uspešnoj poslovnoj ženi iz Sidneja, koja je od prve generacije imigranata došla do jedne od najuspešnijih HR kompanija u Sidneju i bit će jedna vrlo zanimljiva priča. I evo je Vesna. Zdravo Vesna, drago mi je. Hvala. Vesna was born here in Australia, so it's much easier for her to speak in English. Is that correct? So we're going to do this interview in English, but I'm sure many of you will understand it. So she was born in Liverpool, New South Wales. Yeah, correct?
Correct, yes.
Yes, a first generation of immigrants. Tell us something about that period of time. So your parents came from Croatian area?
Yes, so my father came from Priseg, my mum came from Raštević. My dad migrated in 71, my mum in 74. Beautiful story. My mum and dad met through my uncle, who was friends with my father, and 15 days later they got married.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's a beautiful love story.
Yeah, beautiful. So you were born here,
Yes.
As a first generation. How did you feel? Like, did you feel any different? How were you connected to the community? So whether were you connected to community?
I grew up in a very strong, obviously my parents didn't know a lot of English, as most parents didn't that migrated here. My father, along with a group of other men, commenced, had an idea of building a club where all our children and future generations can fulfill their youth and remain with their culture, and so that's where Bonnyrigg Sports Club in New South Wales commenced. So my father, along with some very strong individuals, commenced the build of the club, and to this day is a success for our youth.
Definitely.
It's a beautiful story, yeah.
Correct. So your father was a founding member in that time. So I can just assume you were pretty involved in the community.
Yeah, so I started folklore at the small age of 4.5. I was only a little girl then, but it was beautiful. We grew up with a number of people which we're still friends with and still associate with. Folklore was our life. And then as we moved into teenagehood, my parents put us into martial arts with a guy by the name of Steve Yež, which is also in the community. And we did that for a number of years as well. And then later on in life, we also got involved in basketball as part of the first team called Delia, which was led by a guy by the name of Stevan Šipka. And so we've always been involved in the community, large family, a large group of friends, so it's always been in the Serbian community.
So you did say you were pretty shy as a kid, so your mother put you into martial arts.
Yes.
Did that help with your confidence or just being among people?
Most definitely. You'd never see me talking like this in front of anybody. I was very shy, very reserved, and then martial arts pulled that out of me. I built confidence, strength, and from there I just grew as a person, and I had the confidence to do anything. And I guess I got to credit my sensei for that, and my parents for putting me into that because they built who I am today.
So you did mention you weren't very keen on school.
No, didn't like school at all, at all. No, I didn't like school at all, and that's common knowledge. But there was something different. I guess I found my niche as I got older. I knew that I needed to do more, and it had nothing to do with the schooling. It was more about helping other people. And it just, as I got older, I think it was about 21, a friend of mine said, "You'll be really good at human resources." And I said, "What's that?" I didn't even know what that was at the time. I wanted to be in legal, and did a course, and from there, the journey began.
So you did finish Certificate 4 in Human Resources?
Yeah, I started Certificate 4 just to see what it's like. I loved it. And then from there, I just built myself, got a job into Fantastic Furniture, and then later on into Harley-Davidson Australia. Harley-Davidson Australia is where I boosted my career, went in and did my degree. And from there, I got exposure on the international environment, and that's where my career grew. It just became an addiction, a good addiction.
Yeah, we'll get to it more. So tell me more about growing up in the Serbian community, you were involved in basketball, you were involved in folklore, your father was involved in Bonivik Sports Club, and we can all agree that Bonivik Sports Club, if it's not the best place for Serbians in Australia. So how did that, like, did you feel different in school? Did kids looked at you differently because you were like more involved in Serbian community than Australian?
I think it was more about, I didn't realise that I had an accent. And it was a lot of the Australian kids that said, you have an accent. And I said, no, I don't have an accent. For me, this is normal. And as I got older, the same comment was made. And I guess that comes down to just always speaking Serbian at home. English, you could say, was the second language, because that's all I was used to. I'm 6 foot tall, so I was always the standout. And so I always felt a bit odd. I wasn't the cool kid. I was and like I said earlier on, very reserved, very much an introvert. And from that, I think I struggled a lot, but then at the time, but then as I got older, I realized that actually was just the preparation for where I was going.
Oh, fantastic. So you mentioned you started with Fantastic Furniture. So how was that first initial contact with HR like?
It was difficult. I didn't realize how hard it actually is. You're a little bit of everything. And then my manager saw how closed off I was, so she gave me, it was a bit of a hard lesson, but I think tough love always helps. She got me to do a project where I had to check the immigration statuses of some employees, and we found out through that they were illegal immigrants. And I didn't know what was happening, and all I know is I got told to get a room with one door, and that's it, and call these people in. And from there, the immigration department came in and took them back. I bawled my eyes out. I cried so much because I formed a working relationship with these people, and I knew about their families, I knew about their children, I knew about everything, and that broke my heart. And when I look back now in hindsight, I look at it and I said, well, that also built me, because now what I do is I'm a big advocate of helping people start up, whether it be start in a new country, whether it be start up as in the new career, new life. That's where that passion, basically started. Yeah.
So your husband was a massive support when you decided to start something on your own. Yeah, yes. Correct.
Yeah, correct. So Alex wanted us. We had obviously 2 young children, a boy and a girl, and he wanted me to work from home. He was in construction. He had a building business, and he wanted nothing better than for me to work in the career that I love, as well as look after the family home. So that's where HR MacArthur was born. We built a business, and it was large. It was really big in the MacArthur area. We built a huge network. It was tipping the point where, just as the discussion happened about the new airport, Badgerys-Carrick Airport, I had an opportunity to be the head recruiter there. But unfortunately, things changed from there.
Yeah, everything changed on the 1st of August
1st of August.
2017.
Yeah. So on the 1st of August 2017, I went to a massive networking event in the morning. We got told that we were in the running. We were the front runner for that project. Was phoning my husband to tell him about it, and unfortunately when I got home I found him unconscious on the floor, and he passed away at the young age of 39.
39. So
yeah, 39.
So privately we spoke about it for a bit, and you said that obviously it was a super hard period for you and your family, but the support of the community wasn't great, was it?
No, it wasn't. I guess Alex passing away at a young age, there was a lot of questions around why. And so there was a lot of talk, a lot of speculation in regards to how he passed away. And I kept quiet, being the introvert. I kept quiet until one day dear Vladika came to our house and had a chat with me for a good 3 hours. And yeah, and he opened me up and he broke me. And it was the most enlightening moment of my life, because it made me see that things have to stop, and this is where you have to step up. And so that's where I put messages out on social media to say, enough, respect my family. I have 2 young children, and I'd respect the fact that if you have questions, please come to me and ask me personally, but don't go talking about it. And from that day, something shifted in me. I guess it was, well, it's either the truth has to be spoken or just keep quiet and deal with it. And that's where the shift happened. I moved to Queensland, removed myself for a good year, me and my children, to start again. And we did, and I regrouped on I basically coached myself into being a better person. I spoke to my father a lot on, obviously him being still in Sydney, spoke to him a lot. He guided me through that period until my kids started to miss their family and their friends. They are huge networking back in Sydney, and we decided to come back home, and I made a deal with them that we come back home on the basis that we drive it our way. And since then it's been our way, and that's it.
How did you, I can't even imagine it, that your kid's young, like that was almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
How did you get all this strength, obviously with Vladika Siluan, but how did you get that strength to push through and continue forward and get to this moment where you're a super successful businesswoman and like hopefully thriving?
Vladika Siluan made me see that death is death. It's just a journey that we all go through, and we all have a journey in our life. And unfortunately, Alex's ended earlier, but our journey continues. And our journey is based on what we choose, not what everybody else chooses. It's our choice. And I sat there. I don't know. It was almost like a flick of the switch in my dusha. I don't know whether they call it the Serbian inat or what Serbian strength.
That exists.
But there was one thing that people that are close to me know, that if you tell me no and that you can't do it, be careful, because things shift in me, and I make sure that I do it. And I just wanted to prove to my children that no matter what happens in life and whatever card you're dealt, that you can do anything. And that was my basis. And from there, I just pushed, and I didn't allow anything to bring me down, nor the community, nor family, nor friends, nobody. I just wanted to push forward and be who I want to be. And it was time to change and be the extrovert and the loud and happy person and the positive and optimistic person that I am. And that's what was brought out in me.
You did mention you have a mantra.
Oh yeah.
that you live by.
So yes, I do have a mantra. It's actually quite funny. So it was always up on my wall, in my pantry, bedroom, everything during that period of time. And that is, you have 5 emotional minutes a day, then you have to be a gangster. And that's it. So I do get emotional, but it's only for 5 minutes, and that's it. There's no more. You don't drag it on. Nemoj da gušiš to. You know, because that's when the negativity just keeps, growing. And I'm not a negative person. I don't like it. I want to see people happy as much as I want to see people happy. I want to see myself happy as well.
Of course. So you came back to Sydney to be surrounded, your kid be surrounded with family and the community, of course.
Yes.
So you did go back to work, fantastic furniture, but you didn't plan to build this company you have today.
No. I didn't plan on going back to HR MacArthur. It just happened. I put the kids into folklore. I wanted them to continue and experience what I can experience as a kid. Put them into martial arts as well, so they were also with Steve Yesh, another continuation. And then I got a phone call from a big customer, not in the Serbian community, it's actually in the Italian community, and they said, look, we need your help. And from there I just went, oh, okay, well, what do I do now? And that's where I thought, it can't be MacArthur, can't pigeonhole it, let's expand this. And I created HR Consultancy Group, and that's where it expanded from there. And then the name just kept building and building, and it's organically grown. It's not anything that I've pushed out, it's just organically grown. People just know what I do, and they know how hard I work, and your business is like my business, and I'll look after it. And that's not just me saying that, it's literally, that's how I take it. And I guess that's why I have been successful, because people know that that's how I work.
So what is something in HR, you obviously said you like helping people to start over, what is something that you've really felt passionate about and fell in love in that?
In the corporate field, I'm very passionate about mergers and acquisitions. So I love coming into a business and coming in and saying, a manager going, I need you to change my culture. I need to make sure that you build high-performing teams so that it can build my business and ensure my business grows. And so that's where my strength comes in. I come in, I look at the business, look at the people, assess what is happening, and I'll tell you how it is. You know, I'm not going to tell
Like Serbian style.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell the CEO something and sugarcoat it. I'll tell you this is the downfalls. A lot of people haven't liked that kind of feedback. They're not used to it. But I'd rather tell the truth and let's put it out all on the table and then let's fix it. And I work with everyone, so it's not like I'm not ruthless. I don't come in and just say, right, this is all going to change. I work with you to ensure that we minimise any disruption to a business, but also gain that success.
So you're going to talk about your business a little bit later, but let's move back to that period of time when you we were left by yourself with 2 kids. How do you think you helped your kids like not get over it, but just cope with that? Like what helped your children and yourself?
I had a small group of people, my support team, that helped my children transition through this. Look, it wasn't easy. My daughter struggled a lot emotionally. She remembered only snippets of her father.
How old were your kids?
My daughter was 8 and my son was 9. My son struggled a lot. To this day, you know, I still have, you know, visuals of that day when he found out. It's distraught. It's so disturbing. It's not funny. But with the strong support team that I had, and I still do to this day have around me, they helped me personally. They also helped my children. I will be forever indebted to them. No matter what happens in my life, I will always be there for them regardless. They're the ones that pushed us through.
So yeah, and you're now in 2025, almost 2026, running a successful business. You're also involved in Serbian community as well. You were one of the members of committee for St. Sava College, correct?
Yes, so I was on the board of directors for 6 years as the college was building, and then as my business started to grow and my career started to grow, it just became too much. I mean, I love our college and I love our community, but I had to make a call. And so when I made a pact with my children that when the college opened, that's when I would remove myself, and that's what I did. I removed myself on just after the opening of the college. That's when I removed myself.
Okay, fair enough. But it's a massive milestone in Serbian community in Australia to have something like that, and the Sydney community, I feel, just like doing something new all the time and something better. So we are really envious here in Melbourne about it, just so you know.
Yeah.
And we're always looking, what are you doing? What are you doing next? Sponsoring as well.
Yeah.
St. Sava College.
Yeah.
Just the way community is, I don't know, just something different.
Yeah. There's a lot of passion in our community. Okay. And I think that's what, as much as, you know, a lot of people say that in our community there's a lot of priča and, you know, ljubomora, but there's a lot of passion and there's a lot of love there. And I think that's what makes this all work. You know, we may, you know, have outbursts and be angry and stuff like that, but that's not from a bad place. It's actually from a good place because we all care. We all care.
So what do you think is the biggest difference between Australians and Serbians? You've been like amongst people a lot.
Yeah, I've been around a lot of mixed people in different states, and also different countries. Like, I mean, I've been mingling a lot now with the Australian Chamber of Commerce. I'm part of that committee now, and the behaviour is the same. We all have the same passion, behaviour. I guess the only thing that I could say is that, you know, we just need to stop being a little bit too hard on each other in regards to, for example, I'm Australian born, and I'm not the best speaker. I do speak good Serbian, but I'm not the best, and we just have to not be so judgy on that and just work with each other on that, you know?
The Serbians will not be judgy? Or
no, both. You know, like, I think that we just have to care for each other, basically, and just understand that, look, we come from 2 different environments. Growing up in Australia, we are a certain way, and then you got the other bit, you know, like I came on, you know, I always hear this statement, oh, they came on this shipment and they came here, they came there, they act this way, they act that way. just stop it. Like, it's enough, you know, like, let's just understand that it doesn't matter when you came, what cellar you're from, where you live, who your parents are, whatever it is, what your story is, just support each other and let's just work together to push this forward. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a dream for everybody, of course. Of course. Yeah, so just coming back to your life and look at it, like you started in Serbian community, even though you run I'm sure you're a very busy woman with 2 children and a business, but you still want to give back. You're still pretty much, very much involved in Serbian community in Sydney, whether it's Bonirig, whether it's College Sveti Sava, whether it's the Comets. We're going to talk about it more. So can you tell me about all your roles and what do you do, and how do you think, as somebody who does work in HR, how can we improve all of that and bring to any more ideas?
Sure. I'll start with Bonirig. So my role within Bonirig is I am the communication liaison. And what does that mean? It means that any communications in regards to folklore, that's my role. So anything from any nastupe, any changes that are required, I'm the one that does the communications to the parents and on social platforms and so on. And I guess they've used me more, and I should say elected me more because of my skill in the communication space as part of my role. And so can it be done better? Of course, like, everyone needs more time, and I guess sometimes you get stuck with work, and I travel a lot for work, so my roles aren't just based in New South Wales, my roles are national. And then, so I guess that's where that piece of skill comes into play, is that I have the ability to juggle and work out any issues that anybody may have, or if there's any grievances or changes that are required, I can navigate that between the club and the parents and so on.
How do you juggle? How do you get the time? Because this is all volunteering roles, of course.
So if my reps heard this, they'll probably laugh. So I am one of those ones that wakes up at 4 a.m. in the morning. I wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, go to the gym, and then after the gym I go for a walk. And during my walk I'm on WhatsApp. And that's where a lot of my communications come out to the reps or anything. So I do that, and then try to set my day up. And then as the day goes on, obviously the feedback will come in, or further suggestions will come into play. And then obviously when I have time during lunch breaks or after work, or whilst I'm waiting for my children to finish their activities, that's when I'm back on and try to complete the tasks.
24/7.
I'm on 24/7.
So tell us more about, we are here in Melbourne, of course we know about College Sveti Sava, but tell us more about it. How long did it took you all to put it in work? How hard it was, how challenging it wasn't? Tell us more about it, because we don't...
Yeah, I don't think it was challenging at all. We had a love for that place, and we all wanted it to work. And so we had a committee. There is still a committee there, and many of the people that I was working with are still there. And my role was more the secretary role, ensuring that everything was documented. It was more the governance piece. That was my role. And so, yeah, I wouldn't say that it was challenging or difficult. I think it was quite humbling, to be honest. Yeah.
So what are the plans for that college now?
The college is still building. Now, from my understanding, they're going into high school now, and they're building the other stage. I have a lot of people that go there. My brother's children go there. Everyone that you speak to has got beautiful feedback about the college. So it's a great project that they started, and it's they Bože that it continues the way it is, and if not, get stronger.
Definitely. So one of more of your roles is, of course, you're working in a chamber right now. Can you tell our viewers something more about it?
So I started with the Australian Serbian Chamber of Commerce, or some people know it as ASCC, and I joined that to elevate my business. And my role, as I started work, like meeting up with everybody and discussing the vision, I just thought, well, hang on a second, we can make this bigger, as I do. And I came up with a suggestion, myself and a gentleman by the name of Pedge came up with a suggestion, let's build a framework where we can start more engagement, more interaction and networking with businesses between Australia and Serbia. And then we can leverage against each other to help each other where it's required. And that was a discussion, and then I went to Belgrade this past July, and met up with Pedge, and we just started building this huge model in regards to what we think it would look like. And from there we launched our first webinar in November, spoke about the framework and how we envision this would work, and we've had such good feedback in regards to the framework, and it's more about just building a bridge between the two countries and helping each other.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So we done many years ago.
Yeah.
We did have a conference just recently.
Yes.
Australia was covering it.
Yes.
In Melbourne.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So, what are any more plans in your life?
My
Any
life.
more dreams, plans?
My life is to ensure my kids finish their schooling as any parent would, so that they can grow up and be successful in their own industry. I'm not one of those ones to tell them what they need to do. They need to choose their path, but I'm there to support them. That's in family life. Work life, I want to build, the HR consultancy group, it was built to help small to medium-sized businesses. There's a lot of our businesses here in Australia, and when I sit, and I'm a big listener, so I'll listen, and until you ask me for feedback, I won't give you feedback, but when you ask me, I'll give it to you. And I just think that there's so many businesses out there in our community that need that help. And it's not just HR, I do safety and workers' comp, all the governance piece. It's a large pool of work that I do, and so for me, I want to build that further to ensure that I can help our businesses be safe and compliant. So if I can build that, I'll be happy.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's it. Any message for our viewers for the end? Just how to become successful?
How to be successful? Just
to wake up at 4.
Don't wake up at 4 unless you're crazy like me. Just follow your own path. There's going to be a lot of comments. There'll be a lot of criticisms. Not everyone has the same path. Just follow your own heart. I've always followed my own path, and yes, I do listen to feedback, but I always do it my way.
Your way.
And my dad used to always say, "Ti previše duboko misliš," but that's just the way I am. I always see in front of where I want to go, and that's it. I'll push that hard.
And with that message, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we're going to talk again. Thank you.